Hi guys, welcome to today's Altcoin Bible. If you want to watch the full version of this session where I uncover what's going on with this crazy market we call crypto, make sure to click the link below to become a newsletter subscriber. I go into far more depth around the Bitcoin chart and also some other altcoins. Apart from that, stay tuned for the Altcoin Bible. Cherry Ripe today is a hyperliquid competitor in Asta. It is one of the best looking charts out there at the moment in a sea of horrible redness. So if we're looking at Asta here, it's forming this really nice bowl shape, but really the key for me is this level being breached. This big green candle that just rips through this horizontal line was the trigger for me to say, okay, this is where we have to start paying attention. There's every chance Asta comes back down and retests that 130 region, but so far so good. It's also breaking out against Bitcoin, so it looks really, really strong. It has the capacity from here to run about 29% to that next resistance level. So I'm watching this really, really closely here. Buy entries down to that 130, maybe back down to 121, although that is pretty deep. I just want it to keep closing above this horizontal level and not lose it. My one to watch today is actually Solana, and a big reason behind that is actually the flows that we're seeing with the Solana ETF. Also, we're seeing a few other institutions releasing their Solana staking ETFs over this next week. So if flows are good, if narrative is good, the only thing that's not good is Bitcoin, which is weak and it's looking, just trying to hold support. If there's any sustainable reversal here in Bitcoin, I think some of these assets that are quite strong fundamentally, like Solana, like XRP, which has had some really impressive inflows of late, and it's looking pretty good against Bitcoin. And I will just stress that a lot of the altcoins that I'm looking at here and a lot of the altcoins I'm only interested in are looking good against their Bitcoin pair. So kind of a silver bullet there. All right, so Solana, one to watch. It's now drawing equal lows with its 22nd of June price, so 131. It's having a really nice bounce here. What we want to see is essentially what I've got drawn there is flipping this level at 145. So that's where I get really interested in buying, when we see a bit of a trend change. Ultimately, though, the large trend is still lower highs, it's still downtrending. So where I get really, really interested again, almost like a breakup buy, it's actually quite high. It's above the 200-day moving average, about 180. Really just a little bit higher above that horizontal, and then more conservative investors will be buying more about 200. Again, you're paying a premium for much more information, a lot higher, but sometimes that is required. I think being just patient in this market is quite sensible, but here is as good a spot as any for Solana to try and bottom. You could look to take some risk if it comes back down to form a higher low, in which case you've managed that risk underneath that 128 level. So that's the way I'm looking at it. Also, momentum is bottoming out on the RSI. Doesn't mean that it's all over by any means, but it's at levels not seen on Sol since way back in February. But as you can see, even when we duck into this oversold territory on the daily, we can make successive lower lows until the market bottoms, but momentum is actually climbing higher. So that's a really good sign. But these lows take time to develop, so don't lose your shirt. Be patient and wait for the move to play out. All right, I looked at Asta as my cherry ripe. Now I'm looking at Hyperliquid as my danger zone. So Hyperliquid is kind of a double-edged sword. It's actually held up reasonably well versus other assets that have made maybe equal lows or lower lows. So it's kind of okay, but on the flip side of that, it's lost certain levels and it hasn't moved, and it's fallen beneath its 200-day moving average. It's finding resistance underneath crucial horizontals. So I don't like this setup. It's kind of looking like a head and shoulders pattern here above the 200, and I'll just have a look there. So there's a neckline that's running through there. You just don't want to lose this. We're right on the edge. So 138, 137 is really kind of the zone where I think it can move down here. And it could even, the rejection that we're seeing here into the 200, which is not what you want to see with that wick that's runs straight back into the 200, that kind of means, okay, momentum's being lost. We're getting acceptance now below the 200. Nothing good happens below the 200-day moving average. A lot of good things happen above it. Right now, this is looking like she wants to actually prime for maybe a run down to 32. On the flip side of that, and I always like to look on the breakout possibilities, is it's a really easy overhead level here to get interested again. I think no man's land is where we are. Don't buy into no man's land. Get far more interested when it's, let's say, above my hammer level, which I have here. So above 50. I know you're paying a bit of a premium there again, but where the market's at, you don't want to be just headlong moving into these positions into high beta altcoins when Bitcoin might not be quite secure here and could have another leg. So just keep that in mind. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. Catch you again soon. Bye.